It's time now for the West Holmes Knights Football Weekly Preview Show, brought to you by Keim Home Center in Charm.
West Holmes picked up another victory on Friday on homecoming night in Knight Stadium by the score of 39-6 over the Worcester Generals. Matt Croy alongside Jake Seidel. And for West Holmes, of course, got the first score, and then Brody Bowman run late in the first quarter, followed by the two-point conversion by Rhett Cheney. And really kind of deja vu all over again after that with the Reed Hawksworth touchdown grab at the end of the first half, just like the week before.
And that's exactly what this West Holmes team has to do. And I think, you talk about that two-point conversion. That's something that you weren't expecting to have to do. You had a little bit of a miscommunication on the snap for the extra point, but great awareness by West Holmes to realize Worcester had given up on the play, and you can still run that ball into the end zone. So I think that just shows the football IQ of this West Holmes football team.
Making things happen. They pulled away, of course, in that second half. You look at the offense as a whole, over 200 yards passing, about 160 yards on the ground, 3 touchdown passes, 2 touchdown runs. Pretty good balance on the offensive attack.
And it's all thanks to the offensive line. They're given enough time to get the ball out. They're finding those holes when they're running the ball. And without them, this offense wouldn't be humming the way it has been over the last couple of weeks.
Defense outstanding as per usual, led by Oliver Fleming, who had 3 sacks, and of course Matt Kraft, another interception for him.
And that's huge to see for Kraft, having him out there. It's almost like any ball that goes his way, he's got a chance of picking it off. And that's going to be a key this week. They got Lexington, we'll talk about that a little later. But they just have had him growing each and every week, and it's been a huge, huge advantage for that defense.
The West Holmes now won 5 in a row and still unbeaten in OCC play. Alongside West Holmes Knights head football coach Keaton Leplow, another victory, of course, over Worcester back on Friday on homecoming night for your team. And kind of look at the numbers here, a little over 200 yards passing in the game and around 160 yards on the ground. So really good balance overall for your offense on Friday night.
Yeah, for sure. I thought we started off a little bit slow early on, but as that game went on, going into the really when things started to turn is the second quarter, being able to execute that 2-minute drill and be able to get in the end zone to give us that lead. And then second half was, it was our brand of football. It was, pound the rock, complementary with the screen and the pass game. So I really like, about, a minute 30 left through the rest of the game. I thought we played really well offensively and defensively. But, anytime we can even it out and really present multiple threats on the offensive side of the ball is a good thing for us.
I want to ask you mentioned that 2-minute drill here. That's 2 weeks in a row. At the end of the half, you guys have executed that to perfection with that touchdown passes each week to Reed Hawksworth. Talk about what's the key to that here. These guys seem to be executing that very well.
Yeah, I think on the offensive side of the ball, I think that group's got a high level of football IQ. We've practiced it for about 4 weeks now, and we make sure we take time on it multiple times throughout the week because you never know when you're going to need it. But really, I attribute that to our quarterback, being able to take control and get those guys lined up, and then everybody else on the offense side of the ball, it's hard as high school kids to have a true understanding of, if that ball's not out of bounds, you got to get up and get going. So that success starts with our quarterback, and it leans on some heavy experience and some high football IQ for our offensive guys.
We talk a lot about the offensive line, and rightfully so, but how about that D-line also? You got Oliver Fleming, had 3 more sacks on Friday, of course, and that kind of helps put the pressure on the quarterback, which leads to interceptions like we've seen with Matt Kraft, his 4th INT this year. So the pressure the defense line's putting on quarterbacks is also pretty good.
Yeah, I think our defense in general. I mean, you drop back for a pass, you got some guys on the ends and guys on the inside that are hungry, that are going to be coming for you. You got, those backers who are getting pressure on him as well, and if you break out of the pocket, you're going to have somebody in your face. That's the key to the game, is get the pressure on the quarterback, and anytime that ball is completed, you also got to worry about 5-6 guys running after you ready to deliver a blow. So our D-line's done a great job, especially Oliver, on that backside with what he's been able to do with one hand is fantastic, and the rest of those guys, Grady Hawkins, Dylan Sowers, Zach Hustack, those guys have been putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback, which allows for those, big plays, and Mac's been a ball hawk, all year. So, we're really excited where our guys are at right now.
Well, how about this game Friday, a game where obviously you want to circle on the calendar ahead of time, and both teams playing great football as you take on those Lexington team. This should be a showdown between 2 of the top teams in the OCC.
Yeah, it's what high school football is all about. This is the game, told these guys, if you guys aren't excited for this type of game, you guys are crazy. This is what high school football is about. This is what OCC football is about. You got 2 5-1 teams walking in who, have aspirations for an OCC championship, and both teams are playing playing really well right now, and it should lead to, an electric atmosphere, an electric game, and, we're really excited.
Should be a fine night on the football field. Also, Military Appreciation Night. That's also going to be a big part of the night as well.
Yeah, first year we started it last year. We work in cooperation with the Holmes County VA, and we do a lot of cool things. It's free admission for veterans for both West Holmes and Lexington if you present your ID. Same thing, they get a free $10 combo meal for both sides. We get to wear our military uniforms that were bought by the Holmes County VA, and then just other things throughout there. Just special seating for the veterans. The way we run out, we're gonna be carrying all the branches of the military's flag. So it's just a really cool night. And what's even better is it's such a highly anticipated game that it's gonna be a huge crowd. And anytime you have a huge crowd and you can recognize and honor those people that sacrifice so much for us is a really cool thing.
Everybody invited out to be a part of that with the Military Appreciation Night. And on the field, I guess, when you look at this team, obviously a good measuring stick. And again, a game as well here late in the season to see test your offense as well as your defense.
Yeah, Lexington presents issues all over the place. They've got, Fogel, Cottle, Allen, and Martin. Those guys, being at Worcester before, I've seen these guys for 4 years. And they continually create problems on both sides of the ball. Offensively, Fogel and Allen out there, running the ball or catching the ball. They're putting them in the backfield. They're doing a good job of getting their playmakers the ball. And, we're working on a game plan right now to kind of take away all the different things and put our kids in the best situation to succeed. And then you flip it over to the defensive side, and Cottle is one of the most aggressive players I've seen on defense. Taking on the run and everything they're able to do. When you got 6'5" and 6'6" on the outside, it presents an issue. But again, our game plan is to put our kids in the best position to succeed and let them go out and play. We offensively, I think the key to the game is control the line of scrimmage. We've talked about that a million times before. And defensively, they're going to complete passes. It's how we react to it. It's how we run to the football. It's the amount of hits we get on them. And, it's going to come down to the line of scrimmage and who makes the most plays at the end of the day.
All right, Coach, thanks for your time. Good luck on Friday.
Thank you.
Jake Seidel here with West Holmes, Braxton Blake, and Matt Kraft. And Braxton, we'll start with you. 7 tackles against Worcester. You're second on the team in total tackles this season. What did you see against Worcester to help you get those 7 tackles?
Yeah, we watched a lot of film this week, and, the scout team was giving us a great look. Guys like Asher, Chris, all those young guys giving us really good looks. And, it translates onto the field because you're seeing the same stuff and you're able to, just act with instinct and, go get the ball.
Mac, you picked up your 4th interception of the season. Can you walk us through that play?
Hey, we're zone coverage, so I'm just staying deep, and I see the quarterback roll out. He throws up, and just tracking the ball, make sure I get my feet in bounds, and that's about all there is to it.
So what have you been working on this season to kind of see that ball better?
Last season I wasn't really that physical, so for me this season it's really getting more physical, establishing dominance, and just getting my head back, reading the quarterback and reading the receiver, and just getting better at reading my keys.
So, Mac, we'll stay with you on this one. You got Lexington on Friday. Lex is always going to put up a fight, and they've got some great athletes. What are you and your position group kind of doing to get ready for them?
They're just gonna throw it up to whoever. It's not one person they're gonna target. They're gonna move them all around the field. So it's just getting reps with all the scout team guys, just getting experience with all the different types of receivers that they have, the best that we can replicate, and just getting the best game simulation possible in practice to really ready ourselves.
Braxton, what about you? What are you and your guys doing to get ready?
Yeah, these guys, they run a ton of different run concepts, all kind of route concepts, and at the end of the day, it's the same thing as any other week. It's just reading your keys, and just making tackles, and then the rest will take care of itself because you rely on your teammates and trusting those guys.
It's Military Appreciation Night on Friday. Braxton, what's it mean to you to be able to play a small part in honoring these veterans that have sacrificed so much?
Yeah, it's great. You get to meet some of them and, hear about their stories and stuff. And, it puts a smile on their face, being able to talk to them. And it's just cool to be able to go out there and, represent the people who fought for your country.
Mac, what about you?
building off what he said, we get to have a team meal with them, and my uncle, he's a veteran, so I guess for me it's just getting to go out there and just honor him and, just make him proud.
Okay, guys, thanks for your time. Good luck on Friday against Lexington.
Thank you.
Well, make sure you stop by Keim Home Center for Charm Days this weekend, this Friday and Saturday. Of course, take part in all the fun with Charm Days and all the festivities going on there throughout the weekend. Of course, great sale prices throughout the store, a part of the Charm Days also at Keim Home Center. Of course, they're on Route 57 in Charm. That's Charm Days at Keim Home Center this Friday and Saturday. West Holmes comes in with a record of 5-1. They won 5 straight. They're 3-0 in the OCC, and of course, they're ranked 9th in the latest computer rankings in Division 4, Region 15. Taking on the Lexington Minutemen, they're 5-1, 2-0 in the OCC, and they won 4 straight, and they're ranked 5th in the latest Division 3, Region 10 computer poll for them as well. For the two teams, we're looking at last year's matchup, a game where it was Logan Zollers who scored a late touchdown with 4.5 to go in the fourth quarter against the Minutemen in Lexington, but it wasn't enough. Lexington got that win over West Holmes 19-13, and that would snap a 4-game winning streak for West Holmes over the Minutemen with that game from a year ago. McRoy alongside Jake Seidel, but two of the top teams of the OCC. Should be a good one on Friday night.
And this could be one of those ones. It comes down to the winner of this game getting the OCC crown at the end of the season. Lexington, we've all heard about the great athletes that Lex has right now, but the West Holmes defense, the way they've been playing, I think they're going to give the Minutemen a test.
This is one of those games you get a circle on the calendar. You knew it was going to be a big one, and both teams playing great football right now, and really should be a fun night just all overall with Military Appreciation Night combined with the game. Should be a fun one in Knight Stadium.
And I think you get the offense going, you get out there first, you make Lexington play from behind. That could be a big turning point in this game. And I'm going to say it, we talked about Matt Kraft having 4 interceptions on the season. I think he's going to need to get a little more action throughout the night. Maybe get another interception, get a pick, get that defense off the field so the offense can get out there and keep scoring.
Action for Matt Kraft, trying to add on to the 4 interceptions he's gotten the year. We'll see what happens with the offense and the defense with a big showdown in Knight Stadium on Friday night. Well, to wrap things up for us, for Jay Seidel and Matt Croy, and this week's Knights Football Weekly Preview Show has been brought to you by Keim Home Center in Charm.
You've been watching the West Holmes Knights Football Weekly Preview Show, brought to you by Keim Home Center in Charm.